Hello, welcome to this video. Thank you so much for tuning in, sharing this now moment with myself and with one another. If you haven't seen these videos before, welcome. Welcome back if you have. My intention is unity and oneness. I wanted to just go into a little flow. I'm very excited about my background. I share all these weird pictures that I take because they're just so much fun. They inspire me. And I want to talk a little bit about that inspiration. I don't know if that's where we're going to go with the subject today, but briefly, I want to touch on that. Many of us are having these activations in our cellular matrix. Our kundalini is rising. The energy that's stored, that sacred cranial sacral fluid that comes up and pours up through the senses. And sometimes this can feel agitating. We can feel as if we're not doing what we're supposed to be doing. I guess this is where we're going to go with the conversation. We may feel as if we're stuck. We might feel as if we're frustrated. I want to do a whole video on Kundalini, and in that video, I will share some valuable links for you guys to tune into for those of you who might be experiencing Kundalini activation or uh, curious about it or not sure. But essentially, for me, I've been experiencing this for several years now. And what happens is when this energy is kind of stimulated, it can feel different at different times, depending on what we're feeling emotionally, depending on what we have processed or what we haven't processed. And it tends to bring everything to the surface. And being creative with that energy, I have found personally is really powerful for me to move that energy through my body, my psyche, my imagination, and bring it out of this space and into this place that is the material realm that we all exist within. So I take pictures. I will doodle. I will write. I love to write. And so all of the pictures, for instance, I do in the background here and that I do on my Instagram page are all pictures that I've taken, 99%. Although I do like to share other artists' work that are inspiring and so on and so forth. But I did that and I feel strongly that that's what I want to continue to do because it's something that's part of me. It's something that I'm noticing in my field that as I bring that into my awareness and I share it with you guys, it can actually be activating. It can be synchronistic. And that's another thing we are experiencing oftentimes is heightened synchronicity, heightened patterns that are showing up for us again and again. What is a synchronicity? It's a coincidence, right? But it's really not a coincidence. So, from my perspective, coincidence is synchronicity. And so, for me, this light fixture that I took a picture of was very symbolic because at the time I had really been tuning into the ley lines on the earth. I had been tuning into the frequencies and the ley lines in the body, which are considered dragon lines, which are connected also to obviously Kundalini. So I'm kind of tying this all in together. That's kind of our theme that we've got going on right now. And again, I'll do a video on Kundalini maybe at a later time. In the meantime, let's just drop into a little flow. And my intention is just to kind of see what the guides have to share about the month of September, but it may be related to what I've just spoken about. Generally, it is. So I invite you to feel into your body and come into the heart space. Whenever I drop into this field before I connect, I'm always setting my intention that this be for the highest levels of love light, in union and communion, in unity consciousness, in a place of, you know, joy, peace, bliss. So, in this moment, we are reading the collective space, if you will. We are opening and attuning to what that means. And it is difficult to say what one outcome or potential really truly is going to look like. For each of us are looking at our own potentials, outcomes, and um, perspectives, perspective realities through different perspectives. We are each showing up in a different way. We are each looking up I'm seeing so much. We are each looking forward, if you will, at our reality in a different way. We are each showing up differently in the way we approach our reality. We are each recognizing that our reality is looking different for each and every one of us. For none of us are the same, even though we are all from the same material, one might say. We have all been fabricated in the same way, and we have all created within this fabric of energy, this wave matter in form, a form or a moving and walking form as the human taking its form. And let us play with this for a moment. For the information that is held within the synchronization with this particular realization in time, or within this particular time matrix, has shifted. And so it is difficult in this now moment, as we share this message, to conform to the information that was already presented in a different form, if that makes sense. So I'm trying to stop, I'm going to stop and just kind of play with that. How we are accessing the information is different than it was a week ago, a year ago. And I talk about this a lot. How it is that we perceive the information that we're accessing is shifting. Therefore, our perspective, futures that we are holding a perspective about, I am so and so, I'm going to apply for this job because that's what I want to become in my career path. That's the change I want to make, might shift slightly because now we realize that's not really what I want. And that's a very minor example of what's happening for us, really, sometimes moment to moment. Okay. Therefore, if we're trying to do a prediction about what our future is going to hold or what going to look like, those patterns that we perceive, and this can be just us looking at our future, or if you're a psychic and you're looking at the future of the now reality that's maybe a week from now, there are certain things that have materialized from thought to form in this reality in the form of information that gives us the ability to feel into that field that is being informed from the information that we are sending it. And this is a kind of a play on words, right? So play with that a little bit. We are informing the field, which is the matrix or the ether or the energy that we all exist within, that we're fluidly breathing in and out, we're walking through and towards, right? We are informing that matrix, if we want to call it that, and let's just call it a place where we're held within time, what we would like to see, how we would like to interact with it, and how we would like that reality to be for us in the future. The reason that it's difficult to see what that's going to look like now is because it isn't as uniform as it once was. Meaning it's like we've broken the mold. So a lot of the things that we would have lined up with are no longer there. Or they don't hold the same attraction, so we're not drawn to them as much. And I'm being called to play with this with words. If we're not drawn to something as much, we're not drawing our blueprint based on that potential energy that is drawing us towards it anymore. We're going back to the drawing board and we're reimagining. And I just had a beautiful conversation with my dear friend and sister just the other day about this, which I'll share on a video here very soon. And I've been having conversations about this with Candace. So part of us interacting with each other, by the way, is very important for us to fully come into a very co-creative way. And we're not stuck as much as we think we are. So that was something else. We're not stuck with this particular outcome, But one of the messages that was coming through, and I'll repeat this, I repeat it in the video, is what we're seeing is some of those things that were kind of the ball was already in motion are playing out. So they're playing out because we need to see where it goes. Because as we watch this ball move toward a particular direction, it gives us the ability to witness it, to feel into it, to utilize our emotions, to then use our imagination to and ask ourselves, do I want to follow that ball? Is that something I want to continue to play with? Is that something I want to continue to watch? And then in those moments, moment to moment to moment, we're making a decision, a choice point, and we're walking in a particular direction that either fulfills the motion of that ball or begins to dissolve that particular, what I'm hearing is snowball effect, right? The snow starts to melt and we start to see the core of where this ball began as it starts to move its course, right? And we're less pulled off course by this magnetic attraction. And instead, we're drawn to a different course of action that is not based on fear, reaction, so on and so forth. So I just wanted to so I'll go back into flow about. And there are many different examples that we could use to share how it is we are co-creating in this reality. We do not share these words in this way to confuse, yet to allow the body to relax in a particular poetic format, because the word choices are patterns that we are connecting with and co-creating with in a fluid and dynamic way that allows us to exchange this information in a much bigger play. There is much more at play with this wordology than what it is that you might think we are saying. We are singing. We are bringing forth an energetic component to this structure or format of language and therefore interpretation. So we invite you to play with what it is that you see, feel, and move into in this particular dynamic exchange of energy. For as you listen and respond, you are actually resourcing your own resource, your own bond, if you will, your own chemical bond to language, which is not just a physical representation of communication. It is through the senses that we are informing, if you will, or moving in this form, through this form, in this medium flow of sound, right? Of frequency, of conductivity, and it moves into or morphs into language, which is then heard, felt, sensed, and therefore responded to in the physical skin suit or application that each and every one of us is utilizing in order to communicate. And communicate is we're using this as a broad word. In fact, many of these words are multidimensional subsets and facets of a bigger puzzle piece, if you will, a bigger map, a bigger blueprint, a bigger architecture that we are all accessing in a different way. So while it is our passion to explain energy and explain what we are seeing in the field from this particular plane or differentiation of information, we are also recognizing that there are many different ways of tuning into the field. We bring it back continuously over and over again to how you feel. And this is so important because the course that you are creating right now, and that's a play on words I'm seeing, like if you're creating a course for learning for others, or if you're creating a directional course, or if you're creating a course like for a sport, a golf course, they're just using this as an example. What you are co-creating right now is creating the new earth, is creating the new reality, has already been created. So as you begin to create with this energy, you again streamline your efficiency and you begin to break free of the I'm being called to play with this for a moment before I say it, so I'm going to. Okay, so I was saying it's coefficient. So you become has to do with coefficiency. So in coefficiency is a numerical or constant quantity placed before. I just have to laugh, you guys. I've been talking about the parentheses for a few months now, and I keep understanding more and more about it. Math is clearly not my strong point, but my guides clearly think that it is. But it's funny. So let's play with this, the coefficient. And I know some of you guys are like, Carrie, this is like fourth grade math. Okay, that's fine. I don't remember fourth grade. So I just go into flow and let whatever, I play with this a little bit. So mathematics, a numerical or constant quantity placed before and multiplying the variable in an algebraic expression. It's the parentheses. So I've been talking about these. I'll come back to that. So let's play with words for just a moment, and then we'll come back to a more simplistic view of understanding this technical presentation. For technically, this information is presented through a fluidity, a vocabulary that is brought through this form. And this form is connected through this form or this medium, this etheric energy. I'm hearing constitutivity, consistency, frequency. That is oxygen, if you will. That is hydrogen. That is merged together with elements that allow the physical or physicality to be expressed. Yet all of us are poured into this matter. We are all breathing in and out from this matrix. We are all part of this template. Each and every one of us is a walking template that is poured into a larger template, and this is also poured into an even larger template, if you will. We could say this as the human that is walking around in the air and ether, that swims in the water and plays with these elements and energies, that walks on earth, that constitutes all of these elements. Yet the human is also a constitution, if you will, a walking constitution of energy and all of these elements and form. And so everything is one from that perspective, and we could go on to the cosmic and the cosmology in this particular wordology. But for now, we are referring to the lucid and lucidity of the walking reorganization and morphing within the human template, and therefore the reality in which this structure is presented. The reality that is presenting in alignment with what the human is contemplating. And we'll play with this in another video. I'm being called to come back and, for real, type this up. Okay. So we are processing much information, and each of us has the ability to process the same information. I'm hearing Carrie. Carrie's processing computer, if you will, or computation, tends to line up with a word presentation and mathematical contributions that are in alignment with the geometry of energy that she is drawn to. So this is all drawing it back to the drawing board, drawn into my blueprint. We could call this a deep reflection of the inner DNA, and we could call this a deep quantum entanglement with the DNA of her ancestry, of her former self, if you will, and her future self. It's funny that I'm talking in this is third person. And who are we but these versions of thee, if you will? Yet we are playing with this for a moment because we are a collective of energy. Carrie is not excluded from this, and no one is excluded from the collective frequencies and energies that we are poured into. We could call it the Akash, if you will. We could call it the energy that moves through all things. We could say the information that holds together the strings or imprints of reality in all reality structures. It is held within each and every one of us. So some would differentiate between channeling, if you will, and what an interpretation is of the imagination or a message that comes from the imagination, and so on and so forth. It is all connected. And the way in which to feel into this field and pull from it or draw from it the information that could be creative, that could be fun, that could feel good, that is helpful for the greater good of the all, is by pulling in or pulling on the heartstrings that offer the coordinates of energy and frequency that draws to us those coordinated aspects of us, our family. Deesh ukua, okay, so light language. Deesh ikuaha inish imakai ni ik ish ukuyehene. And the language is another dynamic. It is merely a different type of frequency exchange that gives us the opportunity to exchange information in a physical way, even though it is pulled from a non-physical dimension, from one perspective. It's a play on words. Like a lot of times the guides will, my higher self, all of it, will this collective of frequencies and energies will say from one perspective. So from one perspective that is separate, this is what it looks like. From one perspective that it is the all, it's not material. It's light, it's frequency, it's energy. We bring all of this to your awareness so that you can begin to see and interpret and play with the frequency in all of your awareness. We invite you to look past the old systems that told you that these systems were unavailable to you. We invite you to look past the judgment or the lower frequency domain of fear based belief systems that kept you, me, all of us staring, if you will, at that one ball rolling and eventually getting pulled into the snowball of belief systems and entanglements that were part of creating an old distortion or an old distorted reality. And yet, this is said from non judgment, for this old distorted reality that we have all participated in from one perspective is unilaterally being shifted, sifted, and moved through. This is important because we are part of this sifting mechanism. Yet we would not be part of this sifting mechanism had we nothing to sift through. We have developed who and what we are because of these energies that we are sifting through. So we're being called to see this and feel this from a quantum point of view and recognize that all is what it is. And we are reorganizing these chapters so we may write more freely, so we may access more freely, so we may feel more free in all that we are reading, seeing, sensing, utilizing, and co creating together. When we access this freedom, the inner intelligence or genealogy comes online, and I'm hearing genius. For within each and every one of us is a genetic template that is stored and accessed once the energetics allow us to combine in such a way that we are able to activate, I'm hearing renovate, and conduct with the mind through this heart template. For we cannot speak languages of light or feel into the higher principalities if we do not allow ourselves the freedom to move through those templates, those structures. And yes, some may receive or retrieve this information accidentally, if you will. They may stumble into their own divinity or their own spark in such a way that it is mm, jolting. They may have a moment of genius and then feel unable to access it again. Most of the time, this is a denial. Most of the time, we are in a place of denying ourselves, our higher self, if you will. We are in a place of saying, that can't be real. I can't possibly know this. This is something that I've been told is wrong. I'm seeing a big sign that says, wrong way. You must follow this way. If you follow that way, you're wrong. And what I'm hearing is based on what? Based on many beliefs that have been entangled into our reality, meant to entangle us into that reality. And I'm hearing the reality of mortality. And that's a play on words that we can go into a whole other rabbit hole on that. And we would venture to say that in the immortal, in the I am presence that is beyond the mortal human in this particular version of the human on this particular plane of existence, if you wish to label it as a third dimension or a fourth dimension or a fifth dimension, all of that is impermanent. But the depth of the soul and the energetic components that are part of the oneness that energizes the all, the energizer bunny, if you will, going down the rabbit hole, follow the rabbit, moving out of fear and in and out of time and into a place that is beyond time is the component, the deeper essence of what we are communicating, of what we are moving into moment to moment, of what we already are beyond the moments of time. And so we are weaving in this moment with all in a template and structure within our own temple, and we are redesigning how it is that we inform our future of what it is that we are designing for. I'm hearing that. Do you guys remember that old show? I think my mom used to watch it, Designing Women. But I'm just seeing like we're kind of coming together and retemplating. This is a retemplate. All of these lights are nodes, and I think of this as the earth. And they're just showing me that we're reorganizing on earth as well, but we're also reorganizing beyond earth as well. And we're doing this inside of our own template and our own temple. Honor, this honoring of the temple kind of thing. And so we will end on this note for temporarily, for we are finding our tempo, if you will. And we are all, I'm hearing we are the majority. Although it may not feel as if that is the way things are right now, we would invite you to reach inside of your own temple, your own temple, your own crown, your own body, and allow yourself to reorganize how it is you communicate with your body and how you communicate and feel and sense and hear and listen and talk and all of that with the body of the collective of other temples and humans and templates on earth, so on and so forth, so that you may find your own value and renew that from inside, so that for what it's worth, we begin to restore, re-energize, and capitalize. I'm hearing recapitalize, and that's a play on words like capital letters. You can play with obviously capitalize, like not as a negative thing. We're capitalizing on our own resources here. We're starting to realize we have the resources in order to create reality and renew the reality that is in the process of disintegrating. So, this is and what I'm hearing is we are experiencing at times and right now a temporary fluctuation that can be felt in undulation at the base of the spine as a reminder, I'm alive. I'm hearing like I'm seeing and I'm hearing Frankenstein. But say think of this as a positive. I also have feeling this has something to do with October and Halloween and all of that. It's like this is moving into that time frame, if you will. It's going to continue. What I'm hearing is to fluctuate and enhance all of these sensations and feelings. And so we invite everybody to take a moment. Play on words. We invite you to drop into your solar plexus, your stomach, and recognize that the solar plexus is a region of nerves. It is a template. It is a temple within itself that houses much of your internal organs. And I'm playing with that. When I say internal organs, I see an organ like a piano, keys, structures, how each one interacts with itself, how each organ sounds, how it vibrates. We invite you to tune into your own resource. And in this template, we invite you to draw your awareness into your solar plexus and imagine a golden globe of light in the very center, in the very core. We invite you to expand that light in that warmth from your core. Bring it in and out like a breath, inhaling and exhaling, like a heartbeat. We invite you to expand this energetic sphere of influence, play on words. We invite you to pull that energy out into the front, back into the back, out into the sides, across, if you will. The entire diaphragm, the entire solar region. Feel it grow. And we invite you to feel that warmth, cherry red, golden orange, golden yellow, this beautiful heartbeat of energy. And we invite you to imagine that light clearing all distortions within the solar field inside of you. And as you do this, we invite you to feel as if this is happening outside of you as well, perhaps even in the core of the earth. We invite you to breathe up this golden frequency into the ribs, the backs of the shoulders, and the fronts of the chest, merging with the heart. Ba-bump, ba-bump, ba-bump. A rhythmic coming together. We invite you to send this energy from your solar plexus down into the pelvis and the pelvic region of space inside the body, the bones and the template structure, the hips, the genitals and organs of reproduction, the tailbone and coccyx, the sacrum, all of the bones and cords and energies within this structure, the tubes, the capillaries or veins or network lines, the ley lines inside this lower temple or structure inside the hips. We invite you to send that out into the front region below the belly button, the back region into the buttocks, glutes. We invite you to pull that golden light down through the legs, down into the tops of the femurs, the kneecaps, the backs of the knees, the backs of the thighs. Move it all the way down through the calves and the shins, pulling it down like a liquid light, down into the ankles, down into the arches of the feet, pouring that warm energy down into the arches of the feet and the toes, letting your feet fill up with this light. We invite you to pour that energy down from the solar plexus, from the heart, all the way down into, pull it down through the roots of the feet, through the ground, down into the dirt, down into the orange and browns, down into the rocks, down, 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 and reignite and reconnect through those roots in your feet down into the earth, perhaps into the golden core or center of the earth. And anchor it there. Set your intention to root that energy there. Feeling the appreciation and gratitude for the entire temple and body as you connect to the temple and body of the earth. Bringing your awareness back into your solar plexus, that beautiful golden light that is now filling up your body and pulling it back up through the heart, the back of the neck. Fill it up the front of the neck. Pour it out through the arms. A golden light. Red, orange, gold. Yellow. Pulling it up all the way through the heart into the throat, the center of the throat, all the way up through the esophagus, into the tongue, into the back of the skull, through the front of the neck and the jawline. Pour it up, this beautiful sunshine, radiating from you, from your own temple of light. Pour it and pull it up into the ears, into the teeth, into the top of the channel of the mouth and the roof of the mouth. Pour it all up into the brain, all of the nerves in the brain, the eyes, allow them to glow with this light, the back of the skull, all the folds of the brain pouring with this golden energy. Pull that up, radiating out through the crown of the skull, through the hair follicles. And in a beautiful beam of light, imagine this as roots of golden energy and send that up into the air, into the sky, into the space, into the cosmos, connecting with the deepest part of the cosmos, the universe, and beyond, the original source spark, the flame, if you will, the golden sun of light that is not just gold in the sense of gold, it encompasses all colors, a radiating, undulating sound. Taking a deep breath in and a long exhale, connected to that above and below and within. And in this imagination, we invite you to pull that energy back from above, back up from the earth, all the way down, all the way up, and pull it, draw it into you, back into your human skin suit, back into the center of your own body, your own awareness, feeling completely connected to both, grounded and expansive at the same time. And as you hold this space for a moment, we invite you to focus this energy through the whole body, the whole template, the entire temple. This golden ebb and flow of light. And we invite you to feel into the heart and feel gratitude, appreciation for your body, for this temple, for your imagination, for the energy that flows through all of those, both the imagination and the body, the energy that moves around the body, the energy that moves through the air as you breathe it into the body, feeling gratitude for that, feeling gratitude for the bones that hold the structure up, Feeling gratitude for the bones in the earth that hold that structure up. And feeling gratitude for our ancestors, all of our guides, all of the beings, the beings that surround us, around us, that are within us, that are bound to us through this energy that moves through all things. Sending gratitude to the trees, the water, the mycelium and roots that move through our network of veins and arteries. Breathing in and out, breathing through this template, from this template, through the platelets, bringing it into the blood in the body, allowing this energy to stream through the body and the water, appreciating that. And walking through the next moment to moment, and all next moments to moment, holding this resource as the resource that is bringing and breathing through the source template structure that we are all divinely, quantumly entangled with. In this moment, we disentangle from all that which we are not, sending that gratitude for being part of the template that we existed in before, that we no longer are, existing within now, moving forward, backward, above and below, and within. Singing in this energy, allowing this energy to sing through you. I'm going to do one round of toning, and I invite you to sound whatever sound comes through you. Connecting to the original sound. And so it is. In love and light, thank you for participating in that with me and one another. And so it is. Namaste.